Now on CoastTV News.
Candidate named. The Democrat for District 20's special election is no longer a mystery. We'll introduce you. Design debate. Colorful crosswalks may not be so harmless. Why national criticism could impact local streets. And fun frustration. The Milford Museum has big plans to move, but money from the state may not be enough.
This is CoastTV News at 11.
It's going to be Democrat Alonna Berry up against Republican Nikki Miller on August 5th. Good evening. I'm Christina DeRobertis. Thanks for joining us. Following today's public forum at the Lewis Public Library, the Democratic candidate for the vacant 20th District House seat has officially been picked. Her name, Alonna Berry. The District 20 Democratic Committee unanimously picked Berry tonight, but they did have to vote twice. CoastTV News reporter Emma Aiken is in the newsroom with this story. Emma, Berry has experience up in Dover.
Christina, Berry worked under John Carney, Delaware Governor John Carney, when she has experience in policies and budgeting. That's something she talked about tonight. And she says with this being a special election, it's even more important that someone has experience like herself.
Alonna Berry has been selected as the District 20 Democratic candidate. She'll run against Republican Nikki Miller. Joe Elder, Randy Meredith, Ruby Schaefer, and Keith Steck are the four other candidates Berry beat out. In her remarks, Berry said her experience would make her the best candidate.
There's no better time than right now in this moment. There's a lot happening both federally and locally, and I think we need really strong leaders in Dover who understand how our state system works, who understand the impacts of policies being passed in our state, and understand how that translates back to our district.
District 20 voter Kevin Murphy agreed that Berry was the best choice.
She's got a tremendous background. She knows the area, and I think that she would be a very formidable candidate against the Republican.
One of Berry's first priorities, she says, if she wins the election, would be education reform. The special election is set for August 5th.
And this special election is being held as a result of former District 20 Representative Stell Parker Selby's absence. And today, Berry told us she hopes to continue Parker Selby's legacy. Christina, back to you.
Emma, thank you. And just yesterday, the Sussex County Republican Party officially named Nikki Miller as their candidate for the special election. Miller already filed for the 2026 race, and this is her second attempt at the seat. Miller lost to Parker Selby by just 275 votes in 2024. Miller told CoastTV she hopes the experience she gained from past campaigns will better her chances in the special election.
When I was principal and when I'm in administrator role, I care about constituents, right? That's just going to be bigger now. So my responsive to the constituents, being that voice for them, not only when we're voting on things, but being there to support them in other ways.
Again, that special election is set for August 5th, and CoastTV will have full coverage of it. Moving now to Milford, a big bump in the road for the future of the Milford Museum. After asking for $500,000 from the Community Reinvestment Fund, the Milford Museum got less than 1/10 of that for its move to the old police station. This move has been planned for more than a year due to lack of space in the current space. Mayor Todd Culotta, though, doesn't seem too worried about not initially getting the funds needed.
That doesn't mean that this stops the project. We'll still work with them closely to help with funding and things like that. And we actually have within our own community experts in public funding projects.
And Milford's museum director says they will continue looking for grants, donations, and any resources to get this project done. Delaware winemakers and consumers may soon be getting a taste of a long-awaited change. House Bill 187, which passed both the House and the Senate this year, would allow licensed producers to ship limited quantities of wine directly to their homes, with age checks, also delivery safeguards. If the bill is signed by Governor Matt Meyer, Delaware would become the 49th state to allow direct wine shipment. Local wineries say it's a business boost and a big step forward after a decade-long push in the first state.
The state's going to get more money in their coffers. The Delaware residents win because now they can get their favorite wine shipped to their house. And we, as small wineries in the state of Delaware, we win too.
A spokesperson for Governor Meyer's office said the governor and his legal team are currently reviewing all legislation simultaneously. A heads up for drivers near Milton. Webb Road will be closed between Gravel Hill Road and Shingle Point Road next week. DelDOT says crews will be working on underground utility lines tied to the Four Winds farm development. The closure starts Monday, July 14th at 7 a.m. and it goes until Friday the 18th. Well, a big change for Rehoboth's business community. After 36 years, the woman behind the Rehoboth Beach Dewey Chamber of Commerce is stepping down. President and CEO Carol Everhart has announced her retirement. She says it's been a true blessing to serve the community. There's no word yet on who is going to take her place. Well, there's a call for less creative crosswalks. The U.S. Transportation Secretary now says crosswalks with art in them are distracting to drivers. Examples of those crosswalks can be found all around Delmarva, from the art crosswalks in Milton to the rainbow ones over in Salisbury. City leaders in Salisbury were already planning to repaint the Pride theme to be more politically neutral. Now Mayor Randy Taylor says they may need to revisit the idea entirely.
It sounds like to me now that there's been sort of a directional change in terms of what the expectations are. So we'll have to take a look at it and see where it's the only crosswalk in the city that has this sort of thing. So it wouldn't be it wouldn't be unusual that we would go back to a regular crosswalk there.
And the mayor says that no final decisions have been made about whether the crosswalk will have any art at all. Two separate housing developments by the same applicant will bring more than 250 new homes to Pettyjohn Road here in Sussex County. The county's Planning and Zoning Commission approved both developments, Symphony Glen and Windscape Farms. Symphony Glen is the larger of the two projects. It includes plans for 219 homes across more than 100 acres. And right next door, Windscape Farms would add another 49 homes on 26 acres. People living nearby had mixed opinions on the developments today, but Kevin Gilmore with Sussex County Habitat for Humanity explains what makes one of these projects unique.
The developer approached us and had an idea of trying to figure out how to incorporate houses that are more affordable into a larger context of a plan, and think about it as maybe a model for other developers as well. We started talking about it and ended up with 9 lots.
Yeah, so 9 lots are planned to be Habitat for Humanity homes. Milton already has 5 of them, but never in a subdivision like this. And the Symphony Glen plans also call for $500 per lot to be donated to the Milton Fire Department. That adds up to more than $100,000 for the fire department. Now we're going to go ahead and take a live look outside into Lewis and turn things to our first alert meteorologist, Chris Mastrobono. Chris, you say it's going to be nice for the 4th of July?
Yes, it is. Everything is shaping up to be very nice tomorrow. We made it into the lower 90s today, from the Eastern Shore to Georgetown to Ocean City. Right now, pretty balmy out there. 75 in Salisbury, 70-degree dew point, so still on the muggy side. We're actually warmer at the coast tonight. We've had more of a land breeze today. 73 in Laurel, 76 Georgetown, 80 in Lewis. You can see those dew points still holding upper 60s to lower 70s. We had a few stray thunderstorms that passed through Newcastle County and South Jersey. Those are weakening and pushing off the coast. This cold front is going to be pushing southward and ushering in cool, dry air just in time for the 4th of July. The grills are gassed up, the food is chilling, low humidity for tomorrow, comfortable, warm ocean temperatures, and a low risk of rip currents. We're checking all the boxes off. Wall-to-wall sunshine from Lewis to Dewey Beach, temperatures in the mid to upper 80s. Bethany to Chicotee, we're going to be in the mid to upper 80s. We'll have a look at your hourly forecast and have a look at some unsettled weather down the road coming up in that full 7-day forecast. Christina.
All right, thank you very much, Chris. Well, making national headlines tonight, the first group of detainees arrived at the new detention facility dubbed Alligator Alcatraz. It's in South Florida. State emergency management officials announced this today. Now, a group of lawmakers tried to visit the facility just hours later amid humanitarian concerns, but as Sherelle Hubbard reports, they say they were denied entry.
The detention center dubbed Alligator Alcatraz has received its first group of detainees. Located in the heart of the Florida Everglades, the facility was recently transformed from a training airport into a temporary tent city for migrants, sparking backlash from immigration rights activists, environmentalists, and the state's indigenous community. A group of Democratic lawmakers tried to inspect the grounds Thursday afternoon, but were stopped by law enforcement officers.
The water is rising. It's seeping through tents, and we're demanding access because we are Americans.
The Florida Division of Emergency Management cited a safety concern as the reason they were denied entry, but did not go into detail. Video captured at the facility earlier this week showed barbed wire fencing, rainwater on the floor, and a tent roof blowing in the wind.
As soon as a hurricane blows over that thing, it's going to blow apart like matchsticks.
President Donald Trump toured the detention center on Tuesday. Trump said putting undocumented immigrants in a place surrounded by alligators and snakes is a security tactic, deterring detainees from becoming escapees.
We're going to teach them how to run away from an alligator, okay? If they escape prison.
A joint news release by lawmakers who attempted to visit said the facility is about, quote, inhumane political theater that endangers real people, end quote. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says the state built the facility at the request of the federal government and claims the center is as safe and secure as can be. I'm Sherelle Hubbard reporting.
And we still have more news to get into this evening. Coming up next, how local law enforcement are preparing for an all-hands-on-deck weekend in Ocean City. But first, a food truck serving up more than great eats, also inspiration. That story up next.
Well, we are kicking off our 4th of July in style in Cambridge and Crisfield. Plenty of sunshine. Humidity will be lower, and we're going to continue that sunshine right through the weekend, but the humidity does creep back up by Sunday. We'll talk more about that coming up a little bit later on the newscast.
We don't get to choose what we're born into, but we do get to choose how we use those experiences. That's the mindset for one man in Sussex County, a businessman. As CoastTV's Emma Aiken shows us in today's Coastal Connections, he turns pain into positivity.
Cooking up cheesesteaks. It's a lifestyle for Gary Shirey, who owns Bub's Grub's food truck. But things used to be a lot different.
My dad went to jail for murder when I was 6 years old.
Dysfunctional is the word Shirey used to describe his childhood.
I thank God every day that I'm still alive. You know, the heroin epidemic is killing people.
Shirey struggled with a heroin addiction himself and ultimately ended up behind bars. That's where he says he hit rock bottom. But committed to breaking the cycle, Shirey vowed to give his kids a better childhood than he had. So, in 2019, he bought a food truck, and that was the start of Bub's Grubs.
So if I used to get high and spend all that money getting high, I could spend that money to feed kids.
Now he does, feeding communities not just cheesesteaks, but motivation. And he can proudly say he's someone his kids are proud of.
My son can go into school and say, my daddy owns this truck.
Shirey says his change started with taking accountability, and while he'll never forget his past.
And November 29th will be 9 years that I haven't had a needle in my arm. 9 years.
He's focused on feeding his future. For Coastal Connections, I'm Emma Aiken.
Now, it's been a warm and muggy Thursday evening here on Delmarva. Salisbury checking in at 75 degrees. Winds relatively calm. Dew points are still in the 70s. Good news is the ocean temperatures have warmed up mid to upper 70s. And we're going to have a low risk of rip currents tomorrow and gorgeous weather, just setting up to be a gorgeous 4th of July as we head into the day tomorrow. 80 right now in Rehoboth, a bit milder at the coast, kind of reverse to what we normally see. 73 Laurel, we're at 78 in Milford. You can see those dew points still upper 60s, lower 70s. I think we're going to tap into some 50-degree dew points over the next 24 hours, and that's certainly going to feel good after the sweltering humidity we've seen over the last few weeks. We had a few stray thunderstorms pass through Newcastle County as well as South Jersey. Those are weakening and pushing off the coast. There's that cold front pushing southward. Cooler, drier air lurks behind that, and we are in for quite a gorgeous 4th of July with lower humidity, wall-to-wall sunshine, and the weekend is going to be fantastic. But then that humidity begins to creep up as we go into Sunday. As you see those dew points dipping 50s, 60s over the next 2 days, and then we go back up to those tropical-like levels. So there's the dew points tomorrow. 50s and 60s looking great for fireworks tomorrow evening, and then by Saturday, still seeing some tolerable, comfortable dew points, but then there you go, back to those 70s by Sunday, and then that's going to continue into the start of next week. There's a look at the top 3 hottest Independence Days in Georgetown. 100 degrees back in 1966, and there's a top 3 coolest, and there's the wettest back in 2014. Over 2 inches of rain. We're not going to see any of those extremes this time around. We're going to see plenty of sunshine, temperatures 86 in Cambridge, 85 in Denton, 85 in Salisbury, 85 in Berlin. Making your way out tomorrow to Lewis, we are looking very nice for the Go Forth fireworks. An absolutely gorgeous evening, 72 degrees. Those begin at dusk tomorrow. So plenty of sunshine through your Friday afternoon, and then look at by Saturday morning. We could touch maybe a few upper 50s, Georgetown, Seaford, Ellendale, away from the coast. So nice, cool, crisp start to the day. Plenty of sunshine by the afternoon. So we stay dry over the next 3 days, and then there you see those rain chances ramp up. Now, the National Hurricane Center is monitoring this area of low pressure just off the Florida coast. Hurricane hunters are going to go in there tomorrow, investigate what's going on here, but we could tap into some of this moisture as it pushes up the coast by Monday, but that's going to allow for some tropical air to build in here, and then we may have a front that kind of stalls over the region by the middle part of next week. So turning unsettled. 67 overnight, mostly clear skies, humidity begins to fall. A gorgeous 4th of July, 87 degrees, and we're right in the upper 80s for Saturday. Still tolerable humidity, but as I mentioned, the humidity begins to rise Sunday, and then we introduce those shower and storm chances with the humid air mass in play. And not going to be raining every day Monday through Thursday, but we are going to be much more unsettled with that potential stalled out front. Christina.
Thank you, Chris. Well, it looks like it's going to be an all-hands-on-deck type of weekend in Ocean City, July 4th being one of the busiest times of year for the resort town. Hotels expected to sell out, and restaurant staff should have their hands full, but so will local law enforcement. The Ocean City Police Department, Maryland State Police, and Worcester County Sheriff's Office will be out in full force, making sure Ocean City is just as safe as it is fun.
Making a difference so that families can come to Ocean City and enjoy themselves and not have to deal with the criminals around them.
And Maryland State Police say they will have increased presence on major roadways such as routes 50 and 90. They'll be keeping an eye out for any drunk drivers. And while Independence Day is upon us, millions of Americans will be traveling, feasting on barbecue, and watching some fireworks. Of course, it all comes with a cost. Ivan Rodriguez breaks down just how many people are traveling this holiday and how much they can expect to pay for things from gas to food.
The 4th of July, a time to gather around the grill, enjoy the summer sun, and watch firework displays light up the sky. It could also mean getting stuck in traffic on your way to your destination, with an expected 61 million people set to hit the road.
Most of those people are going to be driving to their destinations, and that's usually the case. Typically, whenever we look at holiday travel, the overwhelming majority drive because it's easier, it's cheaper for people, it affords more flexibility.
With July 4th gas prices at their lowest since the beginning of the pandemic, drivers will feel a little less pain at the pump.
We're paying about 30 cents less than we were this time last year. We haven't paid gas prices this low since 2021.
Air travel, too, is taking off.
We're projecting a record in the air travel category, more than 5.5 million people, 5.84 million.
But so are the prices. AAA says round-trip domestic airfare for this period is up 4% over the last year due to demand. And if you're hosting that backyard barbecue, the price of food has mostly leveled off. A meal for 10 people with all the traditional July 4th offerings will cost $130, up 2.2% from last year, according to Wells Fargo. The higher overall prices are primarily due to beef and egg inflation, the bank says. Your best bet for grilling on a budget? Chicken, up only 1% over the last year. In Atlanta, I'm Ivan Rodriguez.
Let's go now to our CoastTV poll. We want to know about your 4th of July plans, what you plan to do over the holiday. Looking at the results now, 10% say they want to see some fireworks, 23% say a family cookout, 5% with a beach day, I think that's my answer, and 62% just going to stay home. We also have a comment from Diana Rose who says she likes to cook some hot dogs and hamburgers on the grill and sit home and relax. It sounds like a perfect day to me. And you can still vote. You can leave your own comment. Just go to coasttv.com or use our mobile app. Coming up in sports tonight, Delaware State University is selling jerseys of its own coach. More on why the Hornets are promoting Deshaun Jackson's number 10.
Well, if you're thinking about hitting the golf course tomorrow for the 4th of July, plenty of sunshine. Grab the sunglasses, the hat, sunscreen, plenty of sun, and we're going to see those temperatures top out in the upper 80s, lower humidity. We'll have a look at that 10-day forecast in minutes.
This is Coast TV News at 11.
We have a warning tonight for anyone with Oscar Mayer turkey bacon in their fridge or freezer. Kraft Heinz is recalling nearly 368,000 pounds of it due to possible contamination. The recalled turkey bacon was produced between April 24th and June 11th at a plant in South Carolina. It may be contaminated with listeria, which can cause serious illness. The affected products include 12, 36, and 48-ounce vacuum-sealed packages with various use-by dates. That ranges from July 18th to September 4th. So far, no illnesses have been reported. Well, again, it is almost July 4th. If you're planning a cookout or get-together, health officials urging you to keep food safe. Every year in the U.S., there are an estimated 48 million cases of foodborne illness and 3,000 deaths, according to the CDC. In tonight's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither talks to an expert about how to keep July 4th food safe.
Get ready to celebrate, but if you're planning to get together over food for July 4th, watch out for bacteria.
If you're not safe or careful, they can make you sick, and we definitely don't want our 4th of July festivities ruined by foodborne illness.
Meredith Carruthers with the USDA Food Safety and Inspection Service says there are 4 steps to take to help keep food safe. First, clean. Keep your hands, utensils, and surfaces clean before, during, and after you prepare food. Next, separate. Keep raw meats away from other ready-to-eat foods to avoid cross-contamination.
So using a new utensil as you're putting raw food on the grill, and then using a new utensil before you take the cooked food off the grill, not using the same one.
Third, cook. Make sure that meat you're grilling reaches the right temperature. It'll vary based on what you're preparing. Carruthers says using a food thermometer is key.
Grilling makes food look done before it actually is. A lot of times on the grill, we love those grill marks, am I right? So making sure you're using a food thermometer will help you make sure that your food is fully cooked.
Finally, chill. Don't leave food that can spoil out for more than 2 hours at room temperature. That time is cut in half if you're outside in high heat. Keep this in mind for leftovers.
If they have been out for longer than that, they would not be safe to keep. So unfortunately, we would recommend throwing them away at that point.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
We're now under 2 months away from the start of the college football season, and Delaware State is using the time in between to pump out some new merch. Coach Deshaun Jackson now has his own Delaware State jersey, complete with his number 10 on the front. Jackson was named the next head man of the Hornets back in December, and these jerseys are to help promote DSU's October 30th game at the Link in Philly, when Jackson's Hornets take on Michael Vick's Norfolk State Spartans. Vick and Jackson played together on the Eagles from 2009 to 2013, both going to the Pro Bowl in 2010. In the majors, Maryland's own James Wood is headed to the Home Run Derby. The 22-year-old was not voted an All-Star despite ranking 6th in baseball with a .950 OPS. Now, at the very least, Wood gets a chance to show that power off one day before the Midsummer Classic. Wood homered again tonight to give him 23 on the year. That is also tied for 6th in baseball. League leader Cal Raleigh and Braves outfielder Ronald Acuna Jr. are the other commitments thus far. And the big story in baseball outside your local favorites today, Guardians starter Luis Ortiz is under investigation for gambling. The righty was flagged for a single pitch in 2 different starts that resulted in unusual betting action. Ortiz has since been placed on paid leave through the All-Star break. That's it for sports tonight. Have a great evening.
Coming up next, it's not just fireworks this 4th of July. Details on the legendary hot dog eating competition in New York when we come back. The Nathan's Famous Hot Dog Eating Contest set for Friday. Today was the official weigh-in for the competition. A familiar face, more specifically, a familiar mouth, returns for the event this year. Joey Chestnut. He's seeking his 17th mustard belt at the annual gut-busting get-together on the Coney Island Boardwalk. He was banned last year due to a dispute over his sponsorship deal with a company that makes plant-based hot dogs.
He is unbelievable. I can't remember the last time I had a hot dog. I'm more of a burger guy, but wall-to-wall sunshine from the coasts to the inland to the eastern shore, no matter where you're at. If you're on land, you're out on the sea, it's going to be a perfect 4th of July. Lower humidity, temperatures in the mid to upper 80s, and we're shaping up to be very nice tomorrow night. With that lower humidity, it's going to be very pleasant to be outdoors, falling to around 79 by around 9. I know there's fireworks going on tomorrow night. I think there's fireworks going on Saturday night. Even Saturday night is going to be really good as well. And your skeeter meter, well, we're going to be high over the next few days, and then we're going to be up at extreme level by Sunday as we see an increase in higher humidity. Well, Nancy Stapleford of Lewis, Delaware, you're the winner of our Paul Davis umbrella. You can get your forecast anytime, just a call away. Just give that weather phone a call, sponsored by Brockstead Mandalas Federico. Now your 10-day forecast shows 87 on Saturday. Pretty nice weekend, and then we reintroduce thunderstorm chances. Pretty unsettled Monday through most of next week as a front may kind of stall out, and you might kind of be dodging the showers in and out through next week.
All right, got it. Thanks again, Chris, and thanks for joining us for Coast TV News at 11. You can find some more local news and local weather on our Coast TV News app. Also, if you join us again tomorrow for Coast TV News at 5 a.m. The Tonight Show's next. Have a great night.